Good morning. This is a science lesson for Wednesday, May 20th. Today we will continue working on the design process. For today's lesson, you will need your science workbook pages 150 to 152, a pencil, and your crayons. So make sure that you have all these materials and we will go ahead and begin working. If you remember yesterday, we were on pages 148 and 149, where the girl and her mother were at the park and they found a problem. And their problem was that there was too much litter in the park, right? So that was their problem. There was too much litter in the park. And so they designed a plan, and their plan was to put the box in the park. And right here, they put the box in the park, and they put a sign on the front that said, "Please put litter in here." And they cleaned up the park and they put all the garbage inside the box. And then they left it at the park, right? And so then they wanted to test it. Right? So let's read down here. It says, "Test your plan. Does your plan solve the problem? Can you make it better?" All right, so that's what they're doing here. Remember, they left their box at the park and they wanted to see if people would continue to put their garbage in the box. So now this is their test. They came back to the park and look at what happened. Well, yes, people did put their garbage in the box, but can they improve their plan? Yes, they can. So that's what we see in our next picture. Now, how did they improve their plan? What did they do? Yes, they got a bigger box, okay, because the garbage in their first plan was overflowing. There was too much garbage. So they needed a bigger bucket or a bigger box, a bigger can, to put all the garbage in, because there was so much garbage at the park that even though people were putting it in the box, it was still overflowing and falling onto the floor. So now with a bigger box, right, with a bigger box, hopefully all that garbage won't fall out of the box onto the floor. It will stay inside the box, right? All right, on this page, what you're going to do is how did the girl improve her plan? All right, I want you to circle, which again, I keep doing this for you, circle how the girl improved her plan. What was the thing that she put in the park to improve her plan, to make it better, right? That would be a new box, right? That's how she tried to make it better, right? So once you circle your picture of how she tried to improve it or make it better, go ahead to the next page. Now we're looking at page 151, and now we're looking at the little girl and her mother at the park, and it says, "Change your plan to make it better and talk with others about it." So, redesign, talk about it. So the girl and her mother put a bigger box in the park, right? So that's their redesign. They made a plan, which was to put a box out there, okay? Or first they saw the problem, which was there was so much litter in the park. They made a plan, and they designed it, which was to put the box inside of the park to collect all the garbage, right? And then they tested it, and they found that there was still garbage falling over on the floor. Then they improved it by putting a bigger box. So they redesigned it. That's what they're doing here, and they're talking about it, okay, to see how it's going to work. All right. So now I want you to think. Now, if you remember, I asked you yesterday to think about what you might do if you were asked to put something in the park to collect garbage, to make people want to put their garbage into the garbage can and not just throw it on the floor. What's an idea that you might come up with? I want you to draw a picture over here. Now, I mean, these could be any kinds of ideas. I put some over here, some pictures. There's some cool trash and recycling containers. We could put some cool signs up. Like this one right here says, love where you live, right? Because if you love where you live, you're going to take care of it, right? This one says plant pride, not litter. So that means we need to put plants on our ground and not litter on our ground, okay? Um, so there's a bunch of different ideas I'm sure that you little engineers can come up with for putting something in a park, okay? Think about the park in your neighborhood. What would you put there if you could come up with an idea? If they said, hey, you guys, what would you put in the park so that people don't put litter on the garbage, on the ground, and so they would put it into some kind of a bin, all right? So I want you to draw your idea right there, okay? So press pause, draw your idea, and when you're done, go ahead to the next page. Now you should be looking at page 152. This is our Sum It Up page, okay? And in this past unit, we have talked about the design process, right? And we've learned that first in the design process, we have to find a problem, okay? That's the first step, is that we find a problem, right? And then the next step is to figure out a design, right? We have to figure out how can we fix this problem? What can we do to fix our problem, okay? Then after that, we have to test our design. So whatever kind of a solution that we have made for our design, our problem, okay, we have to figure out if it's worked. So we're going to test it and say, hey, does this work? If not, then we have to go back and we have to change it, right? And see if it's going to work. If not, then we're going to make our adjustments. We're going to fix it to make sure that it does work, because we want, whatever our problem is, we want to make sure that whatever our solution is, that it's going to make that it's really going to fix our problem, right? So over here, remember, we start off with the problem. We have our design, all right? We make our plan on how we're going to fix our problem, and then we try it out and see if it solves our problem, right? If not, we go back and we make another plan. All right, so over here on our workbook page, which your name should already be on the top, we have 4 different pictures, all right? And these pictures are our design process, but they're not in order, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to pick out the first and the last of the design process, so the beginning and the end, okay? Now remember, the beginning is the problem. You identify that there's a problem, okay, or what your problem is, and the end is your solution, okay? So what we're going to do is you are going to draw a line underneath what the problem is. Look at the 4 pictures, all right? And what is the problem here? Okay, is the problem the first picture, the boy trying to get the bowl? The second picture is the problem that the dog wants water. The third picture, the boy giving the dog a big bowl. Or the last picture, the dog drinking the water. Is that the problem? Okay, remember the problem. We want to draw a line, okay, a line underneath our problem. And then our solution. What was the end? Okay, how did we solve the problem? What was our solution? Circle our solution. Okay, what did the boy do to solve the problem? And what was the end result? What happened in the end? Okay, our solution. Put a circle around the picture that shows the solution. So we're going to underline the problem, all right, what the boy needed to fix, what he needed to take care of, and we're going to circle the solution, what the boy did to fix this problem. All right, once you're done, that's all for your science today.